Welcome, 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 everyone. Oh my gosh, we survived another week. Sophia, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I mean, it's crazy how that like 1 minute snuck up on me, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, we're going to be live!" And I'm still, getting used to the flow of everything and how this whole like live streaming thing works. And I got a little learning curve here and there, but I'm doing my best. And I want to say I couldn't do it without you. Thank you so much, Sophia, for all your help and all that you do. Because really, I mean, no man is an island. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in right now, and everybody who's been tuning in the last few weeks. Can you believe this is our 8th episode?
It's crazy.
I can't believe it. I mean, 8 episodes, and I want to laugh at the colors that we're wearing right now. This is really funny. And I'm tuning in from my palatial island. You know, every now and again, I get away once a week. I go to Bora Bora.
Yeah, every Tuesday.
Let's talk about last week really quick. Our guest was Miss Woodward.
It was so good.
It was. I mean, honestly, every guest that we've had on so far has been amazing.
Yeah.
Tonight's no different. Tonight is no different. Our guest tonight, Miss Deborah Bond, I have to tell you, it doesn't get any classier. It doesn't get, I mean, just I love a person that just makes me, I don't even have to know them, but listening to their music makes me feel a kind of way. And listening to her new album just really made me feel so many different emotions. And reading her bio made me also cry, brought tears to my eyes because I saw how much we really are alike, you know, and as artists, she and I don't really know each other that well at all, yet our lives are very, very similar. Anyway, I don't want to bore you with my chatter anymore. I just want to bring her straight in. So let's get right to it, Miss Deborah Bond. Introducing. Bring her in, Sophia, please.
Okay.
I'm all blushing over here.
I'm so excited. I would stand up if I had pants on. But I can't stand up.
It's our new normal, girl. It's our new normal.
I'm so thrilled you're here. It's like I was saying in the intro, that's true. I was reading through your bio and learning about your career, and tears were coming to my eyes because it felt like I was talking. I just totally connected to your words and your emotion. And then I heard the record, and then I really was a mushy mess about it. I was just like, it's so good. Your record is so good. And I have to tell the world and anybody who's willing to listen, go out there, get this woman's new record called Compass. I mean, it really is something. And now I'll shut the heck up and let you talk.
Man, first of all, listening to your introduction, I don't know, I'm a very, I jokingly, but it's really not a joke. I say that I'm a cosmic girl, and just hearing you say that, you know, I feel like I've known you as well. Like I've followed you for quite some time. I love your voice. It's weird. In my mind, I probably even thought maybe I'd met you or crossed paths with you. And then hearing you set things up and chat about how you read the bio and you see these parallels, that to me is like the universe kind of confirming things that I always feel. I just really always try to convey to people that we're all connected. There's usually some kind of something that we can find a common ground. And so hearing you say that, I'm like, wow, man, life is really that way. And here we are again, you know, just two different people different worlds connecting, and I'm sure we'll probably find out that we have a lot more in common than we even know. So
Right. And I already do know you. I didn't know that you and I both had done incognito. I didn't know that. And then Bluey sends out the letters to you, me, and Mesa. Right.
Yeah.
He says, "Hey girls, hey my soul sisters," and I see us all on there, and I was like, "Oh my God, that is." I mean, I know your name, and I never knew all of the things that you did, and I keep saying this every single week that I do this show, that I'm having amazing, talented people on here that I already know are talented, right? But then I start digging into their history and finding out about their careers and how they began and their trials and all these things. And then it just takes me to a deep place that I'm just like, I have so much great respect for every single one of you and what you do. And I feel so, just kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Honored to be in all of your company, to be able to say that we do the same things and la, 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 la. It means a lot. And I never take that stuff for granted, but forget that, forget me. I want to talk about, thank you. Your career, I want to talk about from the beginning. Let's just go from the beginning, because you have some really cool stuff in your life, and I don't want to just jump straight to that. I want to talk about where you originally come from and where you're at and how you got there, and let's just go from there.
All right. So young Deborah. So I was born in New Haven, Connecticut, the northeastern part of America. And I wasn't one of those kids, typically you hear soul singers, R&B singers, their story is always, I've come from the church, started singing in the church. For me, I did not. I always knew really young that there was something with me connected to music. I didn't really even understand it, but I felt it at a very young age. And so I would privately, secretly start singing and writing at a very young age, probably about around 7 or 8. I started trying to write songs, and I was always kind of dreaming of being on stages, but I was really shy about it, really quiet about it. I didn't have the church platform where they say, come on, baby girl, get up and sing a little something. I was just a very inner city type kid. So I didn't really showcase it at a young age. I was very, very quiet and in my head about it. But kind of there was an inner knowing very young that I wanted to write and I wanted to sing. The crazy thing is what I began the journey with, now that I really look back and think about it, is with public speaking. At around 9 or 10 years old, I started doing these oration contests, is what they would call them, and elementary school and middle school, as we say here. And like, I had this thing about speaking in front of people and trying to connect with people just through my words, not even through singing, just through speaking to them. And so I would memorize speeches, I would memorize poems, and I was trying to very really heavy stuff. So the Last Poets, I don't know if you're familiar with them, but they were very they pushed some some buttons, and I was here I am in high school studying the Last Poets and trying to stand up in front of people and recite these poems. And my mom still has all these trophies. She has these. I would started winning these contests, and that was like the doorway that kind of made me think, I'm okay in front of people. I want to talk to people. I want to relate to people. And I love to sing, but I'm a little scared about singing, but at least I can speak to people. And so that kind of set it off. And that really took me a little ways. And high school, I started doing, talent shows. I was already writing songs. I was like the typical kid in the 90s that was listening to SWV and, Escape and all of those Boyz II Men and those Mary J. Blige, those type of pop groups. And I was really just trying to learn about music. But actually, going back, let me think about it. I was also a quintessential 70s baby, 80s kid, because I was born into a time when my parents and my cousins and my friends were listening to everything. So, when I was born, there was Minnie Riperton and there was, Sly and the Family Stone and P-Funk. And this and that. But then by the time I became like a true listener of music, even as a kid, there was like the Eurythmics and Prince and Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston. And I, as a typical MTV, kid, like I was so enamored by everything about that culture, just style, fashion, music videos. I was a little bit obsessed with that stuff. So that also was happening. Meanwhile, I was very shy about telling anyone about it. So I would just kind of sing in my room and like write little songs and like, think about what it would be like if I was really performing. But I actually was just doing public speaking until high school, when I started doing a lot of musical theater and still slowly kind of coming out of my shell. My esteem wasn't the strongest. I was really shy and not very secure and like kind of worried that I was like, I considered myself back then like a cool dork, like big glasses, really, really runty and skinny and like, but I was just cool with people. I was kind of like, okay, well, I like to sing, guys. So you want to hear a little something? And I moved to DC in the early mid-90s.
Okay, wait. I have to cut in because now you're going to move to DC. I want to go back to your first songs that you wrote. Do you remember any of the first songs that you wrote or any of that? Like, I would love to hear little baby Deborah's first tune.
Oh my gosh, you are great, first of all, for that, because no one's ever asked me that. And yes, there was a song. I had a neighbor, her name is Stacy. Hi Stacy, if you're watching, because we reconnected over the years over Facebook, and we were singing buddies, and we kind of co-wrote this song together, but it's one of the ones I really remember. We wrote two songs. One was called Foolishness, and one was called Heartbroken. Now, why 10-year-old girls, 12-year-old girls are writing about being heartbroken? I don't know about that. But we were writing.
Feelings. It's okay.
I didn't have no boys, but it was cool. I was writing about getting my heart broken as if I understood the pain. And there was a show, I have to say, that we were both obsessed with called Rags to Riches that had Tisha Campbell. It was like a musical TV show. It was really different, kind of corny, kind of cheesy. I loved it. It was all of the songs in that show were like kind of like very doo-wop type stuff. So the first kind of songs I started to write were kind of these like these little like shuffly old, very old for an 80s kid. But there was a song. There was Heartbroken, and it was like it was like, I thought you would think twice because you were so nice. I thought you would stay, but you had to go away. Doom, 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 doom. You said we'd be together forever. Together we would always be. Then you had spoken and you left me heartbroken. Do 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 do. I will never forget Heartbroken.
Yeah, but let me just say, that was really sophisticated for your first song. I mean, super sophisticated, because my first song, I think I wrote it when I was about 8 or 9. And mine, naturally, if you know me, you know I'm obsessed with cleanliness.
Yeah.
And my song back then was written about taking a shower. And so, it was awful. And it was like, hold on. It was like, life is worth living. Take time to share and care. Something, 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 something. And then the chorus. Take the shower of life. Cleanse yourself in the universe.
It's real hard.
There's soap for you, soap for me, soap for you, soap for me, soap for you, soap for everybody.
Oh my, that's real. That's some real talk right there. You were giving messages to the world. So for everybody.
You always all like so grown and mature in minds about a bath.
I don't know how we knew. I thought you would think twice, and you said you were gonna stay. You had to go. I'm like, I don't. It was hilarious.
Marshall wrote the song. He said, "Yo, that song "Heartbroken" is nice." It was. You don't like that soap song, Marshall?
Thank you, Marshall. But I think in this day and age, the soap song is really relevant right now. Wash your hands. Put your mask on.
Right. I was ahead of my time.
You was ahead of your time.
This is Big New York. I used to sell Deborah's music in Washington, D.C. at Kemp Mill Music on F Street back in 2001.
I know. Shout out to Kemp Mill. I can see the storefront.
Yes.
Wow. Hi, Christian. What's up?
Thank you, Marshall. He said I could write a jingle for soap. I could. Wash your ass. Anyway, all right, so that's amazing. So now let's mosey on down to when you made your way into DC.
DC's got a hold on me. DC, I moved to DC when I was 17 for college. I went to American University. Contrary to what a few people have published and said, I did not finish school. I'm going to say that first, because so many people are like, oh, you went to MA and she got her degree at AU. I'm like, no, I went to American University. I studied broadcast journalism and I studied music performance. And that was interesting because DC was a bit of a culture shock for me coming from, and here's the really trippy thing about it. When I moved to DC, coming from Connecticut, which is known, Connecticut, what do you think of Connecticut? Everybody has, trees and rich people and lifestyles of the rich and famous in Connecticut. And so when I came to DC, a lot of the people that I met thought I was like this, kind of coming from a very rich background. And in New Haven, Connecticut in particular, where Yale is New Haven's quite a wild spot because Yale is in the heart of it, but then all around is just like, a little gangster there. So when I came to DC and went to American University, I did have a bit of a culture shock because American was probably about 2% Black, 2% at that time. And so I was trying to absorb, learning the music, the broadcasting, but I can really see that I was very caught up with just the culture of like the school environment I was, as opposed to the world outside of American University. I met some amazing people at American University, but outside of that school is where I feel like I found my calling, my home, my voice, because during that time, you got Junkyard Band, Backyard Band, EU, you got Go-Go thriving, you got bands just everywhere. Like this city, a lot of people thought it was, it is a political city, but it also has this serious, rich history in like live band music, and so being an American, I was like trying to, navigate. I had a radio show while I was on campus. I learned a lot about being a host, a lot about being a broadcaster. I learned a lot about my voice and studying that kind of a thing. But I was really just trying to get out into the world. I'm a Sagittarius. I'm a little crazy. I wanted to get out and just be amongst the people. And I have to say that like DC really groomed me. DC really groomed me.
Grandma.
Yeah. I love it, Grandma. DC, the musical community kind of scooped me up quick, and I wanted to be scooped up. I wanted to meet musicians. I wanted to take music. I don't know what happened at AU. There was something definitely that happened. I did meet quite a few artists right before I left school, and I think they kind of brought things out of me. A lot of brothers I met that were rapping, this was also the heyday. This was like 94, 95, 96. So this is like, you got Maxwell, you've got Mel LaRue, you've got My Life, Mary J. Blige. You have all this hot stuff happening. Eric Benet. I can remember all the music of that time. And I was meeting Fugees, you know. I was really inspired by that. And kind of, I think I really got to a point where I decided, okay, why are you so shy with this? Like, you need to kind of like step up and like try to like record a demo or like figure something out. And more, I think that when that intention was set in my mind, I started to meet people who were really into that. And I met a few guys at AU. We used to call ourselves Rebels of the Lost Sun, TSUN. And we were like this Fugees. I was like the singer girl, you know, and and they were the rappers. And they really inspired me and kind of motivated me to keep pushing towards like what I really wanted. And when I left AU, I decided that I wanted a very specific sound. I was very, very intentional in who I wanted to work with. I was trying to shift from a lot of hip hop to more like adult contemporary R&B. I wanted to emulate the people I grew up on. I wanted to emulate Anita Baker in particular, Sade and Shaka Khan and Phyllis Hyman and those type of artists. And so I just started going out on the scene in DC and being anywhere and everywhere that I could be to meet musicians. And it was not hard because DC is just full of them. And I met some amazing guys, 3 guys. One of them I dated for quite a while. And he became one of my producers. And then his best friends became my producers too. And they called themselves Third Logic. And Third Logic became my production team and my bandmates. And that was really the beginning of like, okay, I'm going to start writing albums. I'm going to start living the dream I want to live. Yeah. And DC was a great place to do it at that time because it was really competitive.
I don't know. And in those years, I was not visiting DC a lot. I think I went, I had some friends that lived down there and they invited me to their home, I think for a weekend or something. We went to a club and they played go-go music and I had never heard it before. And I didn't know what to tell my body to do. I was like, what part of my body am I supposed to be moving to this? Is it, you know, it's like a lot of things were happening to me. I wanted to go, you know, you got that percussion, and I'm just thinking, is it like bounce, 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 bounce? Is it like, I just couldn't figure out what to be moving. I loved it so much. And then fast forward to when you said the 90s, like around 1992 or 3, then I started touring the world very, very early. And so after, I'd come back home after like a big trip, like a long, maybe a 3-month trip to Europe or something. And I come back and all this new music was out.
Yes.
And my mind was just like, I felt like I was missing so much.
Yes.
Because it was all the new acts that were out. I was like, oh my goodness, like Fujila and all these things, what you mentioned. And I was like, felt overwhelmed, like, and trying to catch up, you know, and just like buying all these CDs and doing all that kind of thing. Remember CDs? Buying CDs. So it was really, really great. So, but now, fast forward to the new music you're doing now. Are any of those producers involved with any of the things you're doing now?
No, which is why this particular album is so important to me because it's a departure album. I mean, I stayed with Third Logic, my Chuck, Kennard, and Robbie. Shout out to them because they really set me off into this world, and we were a team and a family for very long. We were working together. Our last album was released in 2011, and we kind of rode on that wave of that album till about 2016. And 2016, a lot changed in my life, a lot changed in the band. And by 2019, I really kind of came to the conclusion that I needed to depart from whoever was left because I had 3 of them. And then by 2016, there was 2 of them. Of course, if you date someone in your band, that can get, you know, it can be, and then you're not dating them anymore. You know, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. So with me, I lost a member of my band, and my 2 brothers, Kennard and Chuck, we have been working, gigging, doing a lot of things together. But I got to a point where I just decided, as much as I love them and as much as they have, really been a part of the journey and the team, I felt like I just needed to have a moment alone to really figure it out. And so 2019, at the very end of 2019, I had conversations, and I, kept it real and said, we were working on material, but I do believe it will release at some point, but I wanted to put it on hold and just kind of venture out and see who I could connect with, see who I could work with. And, they have my back, and they're beautiful lights in my life and very supportive. And so that's what I did. So they're not even on this album, but most of my fan base who's been on the ride with me, they know the sound that has been created by Third Logic, because I've been with them since I was 23 years old. And here I am, 44. And, I'm not with them. So this is really, for me, a major change, having a record released without them involved.
Those changes are really difficult to make. And it takes, I know you must have had a couple of sleepless nights just mulling it over. I've been in that position more than once, I have to say. And it's really hard when you have to part ways with people that you care about.
Yes.
For and multitudes of reasons,
Yeah.
But and it hurts people sometimes, and it hurts you.
Yes.
And you don't want to hurt anybody, and you certainly don't want to hurt yourself either, but they are necessary changes that have to be made. Mm-hmm. And it's just, it could be gut wrenching. And I know that it's happened to me a couple of times in my life, and we can talk about it one day off of this.
Yeah.
We had to just cut the cord and pull it, and just be like,
it's scary.
Namaste, now must go. This is really, this is a tough one, but necessary for my soul. Necessary, and it's going to hurt me now, because I do liken working relationships, especially with music, because we do bear our souls.
Yes.
We have to, in order to get to a certain place, you really do have to shed your skin. You really do have to become very vulnerable and comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yes.
And that is a process.
Yes,
and it's
indeed.
a process. And to get there, so you end up it's like a work marriage with the people that you're with, in a way that is just, you have to be in it to understand what that is like, and people say, well, it's just music, it's just what.
No, it's so much deeper than that.
It really, really is. And so I'm saying all this to say, I totally get you, and why I had to say all that for that, but I did.
And it feels good to hear that. When you're going through those things as an artist, or in any business situation that turns into having the people involved, people that you love, and that you feel more like family with than even business partners with, it's not, sometimes you feel very alone in that moment. You know what I'm saying? You feel like, wow, this is hard. And sometimes you just don't think that, anyone really understands what that's like. And so hearing, but so many of us, many artists have been through this type of change, shift, stepping out on your own, so many. And so hearing from someone like you that you get it, to me, is like, wow. Because last year was a heavy year. For me, it also happened very suddenly, because 2019 is when I decided that I needed to make this kind of official with them, that I needed to do some things on my own. And then literally 3 months later, a pandemic happens, and there's so then I'm kind of left here in this space that I live in, all alone, slightly newly single, just trying to figure out my life, trying to figure out the music. And it really gave me a lot to think about. And so to be to be someone by myself in this moment of isolation, also deciding to work on something new without my comfort zone, without these guys, it had some moments of serious intensity, serious emotion. And at the same time, there were these pockets of you got to do this. You can do this. Even in the pandemic, you can write this album. You can record it right over there in your living room. You can do this. And so there was so many, this duality of fear and hurt and then like ambition and motivation
Mhm.
all at once, and all last year.
I get all of that. And with that said, let's play a cut from Compass. Let's play Radio because it's so good. Oh
Thank
my goodness.
you. Thank you.
It is. You don't have to thank me, but it's great.
Just another sad love story. Different circumstances, still plays the same. Boy meets girl, girl falls in love. Two people dance again. And as usual, it may not have been the right time. Still we try to make it last. Why must it feel so good? Can't help ourselves, we move so fast. And it's a shame for us, yes. Losing sight of the game. Let's do what's best for us. And write a classic love song for the radio. Singing beautiful, baby. Playtime is over. Let's lay it down today. I hope that you hear me, 'cause I really love you. Let's lay it down to stay. I've never really been one to believe in fairy tales, but honey, you bring out my inner child. Laugh and play with you, living the life of the free and wild. But as the story goes, we may not have seen what's up ahead, and now these words are hard to write. 'Cause I never want you out of my life. It's a shame for us, losing sight of the game. Let's do what's best for us and write a classic love song for the radio. Sing it beautiful, baby. Playtime is over. Let's lay it down today. I hope that you hear me, 'cause I really love you. Let's lay it down to stay.
I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
Oh my God. I'll tell everybody again, in case you missed it, make sure that you go and pick up this woman's amazing new project, Compass. Really is quite a delicious treat. So, like, for real. Yes, radio is great. Yes, Marshall. And I want to thank everybody who's tuning in right now and who's been here from the beginning. Marshall, DJ Dress, Monica, Marianne, Roro, and Christian, and Jeremiah, Stacy, Sherry, and everybody else for just supporting, what we're doing here. It isn't possible if people don't tune in and watch and comment, then what do we have? I might as well call you on the phone.
Hello.
After that, which is fine, I can do that. But it's great to know that, people are coming in and enjoying your work, and I'm really loving it. So, but I know that you could tell me about this thing I read about the DC Grammy chapter governor. What is that?
Yeah, wow. So a lot of people, when they think of Grammys, they think of the award show, they think of the Grammys, but it's a pretty big organization, NARS, NARAS, long title, but it basically is an organization that represents singers, songwriters, engineers, publicists, many people in the entertainment music business around the country. And if you are a creator, if you are someone in that world that wants to be able to vote for who becomes a Grammy nominee, who becomes a Grammy winner, you find out that there are chapters all around the country. In every pretty much major city in America, there is a chapter, a NARS or Grammy chapter. And they do have, rules and regulations and requirements. But for most serious artists, you've been on a few albums, you've got some album credits, you can apply for a membership in a certain city. And when you do that, if you are accepted into the chapter of your choice, whether it be DC, Memphis, New York, LA, Nashville, Detroit, Chicago, Oakland, but there's chapters all over the place. And if you decide, whatever chapter you want to get down with, you join that chapter, and then you're invited to a lot of events, panel discussions, artistry building events, networking events, advocacy events where you can fight for performers' rights, those type of things. And if you're involved enough and you show your face enough and you really display interest in bringing more people in or helping people understand the benefits of being a member that are beyond just going to the Grammy Awards, you may be invited to sit at the Board of Governors. And the Board of Governors is a group of about maybe 16 people. There's a president, secretary, vice president, all of that. And you, as a governor or as an officer, showing up to these board meetings is the next level. It's kind of hearing about what really is going on behind the scenes and having a voice and making decisions, and also just doing some really high level networking. I was elected to the Board of Governors about 8 years ago. And during that time, Crystal Waters was on the board. Mesa was on the board. I mean, I couldn't believe that I was in a room with Mesa and Crystal Waters. This is before I was even working with Mesa, and so everyone from Chucky Thompson, who's worked with Mary J. Blige, and you never know who's going to be at the table depending on what city you are in. And so I was honored to be groomed and to be considered to be a board member. And after serving one term, I just wanted to do more of that. I wanted to be deeper involved. I wanted to understand beyond just going to the show. Now, I will say this. I encourage any artist who, has that dream of being a nominee or being a part of that world to find out where their chapter is in their city, find out what type of events that chapter is doing, and apply for membership, and to get a ballot in my hand and not only see my music on the ballot, but also to know that I have the power and privilege to put a vote in for quality music that should be nominated for Grammys. That's for real. That's a real deal for me.
Amazing. That's amazing.
So that's open to anybody. That's not just to governors. If you're a member and you're a voting member, I think if you want to be a voting member, you do have to have a certain amount of credits on albums, and you have to have a certain level of musicianship and being a part of the scene. But honestly, if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, it's not very hard to be a voting member. And it's really cool and critical to see that process from behind the veil, I've gone to several Grammy Awards, about 6 award shows, and it's amazing and it's glamorous and it's fun. But being in the room with peers and like minds and people that are in that struggle with you, that are also wanting to know your opinions, or being able to go to the Capitol Hill and fight for royalty rates and things like that, we are struggling with in the music business. you can really make some really cool moves if you're about that life, you know? And so,
Great.
yeah, I've just been newly elected back. I
That is
took a 2-year break, and now I'm back. So
wow.
ready to serve.
I mean, you just taught me a few new things about that, because I never really had it in my sights about Grammy anything. It
Oh my gosh.
never
We'll
was it.
But
Yeah, my mind was always like, okay. You know, I just felt like it was this unreachable thing, and it always seemed, I didn't know if it was a political thing or the game of it all. And I've heard so many, you know, you hear so many rumors like, how come such and such is cast out this year out of the Grammys when they had the #1 everything? How did that happen? And blah, 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 blah. And so I just thought, I'm going to make music. Okay. And that's it.
No, you would be such a gem to, you know, I have to say this, for a long time, I did not think you were American. Are you from here? Where are you from?
Yes.
You know, and I got people that used to say that to me. They're like, are you from London? I'm like, I'm not from London, but okay. So I'm
raised in Manhattan. I'm a New Yorker all the way.
You're a Northerner too. I'm all thinking that you're like a British girl or somewhere, the islands. I don't know why I thought that. My bad for that. But you need to be in the New York chapter. Like you are a gem. You've been around. You've been in the business. There's so much that you could bring to the table, and it's partly why I do like to speak about it in these type of platforms, because it does seem from the outside like, oh my gosh, it's the Grammys. I don't know, like, how do you even do that? But it's not really that difficult if you're just a professional and you're doing what you do, whether it's an engineer, a publicist, a manager for an artist, or a straight up recording artist. It's not really out of reach, and we welcome really good creatives, good people. And I tell people a lot, like when you think about politics and you think about, you know, voting for the president or whatever, and there's a lot of people that are like, well, if you don't vote, then you can't be upset when this person becomes our president if you didn't even put in a ballot. It's very similar with Grammys. I used to be so frustrated with some of the winners and some of the things I would see. And in my mind, I thought, well, how can I had people around me like, well, you could just join a chapter and at least you can vote. And I didn't know I could do that. I didn't know.
Right. I didn't know you could do it in that way. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So
no, I will bug you about it offline, but you would be such a gem to the community.
Thank you. We have just a little time left, and I want to make sure I get to everything. I know that you have been the radio personality over at SiriusXM for over 10 years. I mean, you're really doing it all, and you're doing it like with such finesse and style that, you know, it's just like, oh, really? You like, bam, and there's it, and bam, and there's that.
I'm just trying. I'm ambitious, and I'm like all over the place. If I'm into it, I think I'm gonna try it. I'm that type of girl. Like whether it's a really weird exotic meal or a crazy loud outfit or a job. If I'm into it, I'm gonna just try it, you know. And radio has been a great experience for me. It's what I studied in school, so I was really happy to land a job at SiriusXM. When I got there, it was XM radio, and I had my own show. It was a neo soul show. Then the merger happened, and it became SiriusXM Radio. New York kind of merged with DC, and there were these two interesting worlds that combined. And when that happened, I was completely moved into production. So I was really kind of like what's sister's name? Is her name Sophia? I was wearing her hat for many, many years. I was running live broadcasts. I was behind the scene. I was dealing with sound and tech things. That was a little bit crazy for me. I really wanted to be interviewing more than being behind the scenes. So I was really thankful for the years that I had in front of the microphone. But then, not necessarily by choice, I was moved into being behind the microphone and really understanding some of the technical needs and all of that. It gave me probably extreme high blood pressure. It's very scary running a production, especially if it's like Essence Fest or Montreal Jazz Fest. I used to do this, we would broadcast live if you had real jazz, or watercolors on Sirius XM. You would hear my production of like going from a stage feed to a microphone, a host feed. And at any button you press wrong, millions of people hear your screw ups. Yeah. So I was really terrified of that job, but thankful that I got it. And it led me to doing a lot of jingles, jingle writing, jingle singing, voiceovers. And that's what's kind of helping me stay afloat even now. Once I left the end of 2015, I left Sirius XM and decided I wanted to be full-time singing. And I made such a great network of people, and it was really cool. And I still luckily get to do a lot of jingle work and voiceover work thanks to those connections. And I did a lot of hosting of shows, Capitol Jazz Festival in DC or Maryland. I would have interviews with Anthony Hamilton and all kinds of Marsha Ambrosius and do what you're doing right now. It was very cool to just sit and relate to people and talk to artists and pick their brains. And so it was a cool 10-year run. It was a cool run.
I mean, and it is, and your run now. I'm kind of selfishly glad you left all that so that you could put out this like bomb ASS music for us. So I'm really happy about that. I know that you work with Ronnie Jordan, the late Ronnie Jordan, and Frank McCollum, and Melba Moore, and Lettucey, and Zoe, and the Foreign Exchange, and all those things, and Incognito, and I'm sure that, all of those acts are phenomenal acts. And I know that a little bit of everything we do always bleeds a bit into our own projects and into our life. So we have to make sure that blood is good, clean blood that we need.
That's right.
The good blood.
Right. That's right.
So, that's being selective in that and all that. Mm-hmm. And I want, with the new project that you're working on and this video, guys, she has this video called Time that we're going to close the show out with that because it's a mini movie and it is spectacular. So if you're here now, don't leave because we're going to play that out. And it really is, your acting in it is pretty quite, I didn't know you can act. I didn't know you were an actress, excuse me. And that blew me away too. So now what else? Do you knit? Do you knit too? Do you knit and crochet as well? What the heck? What's happening? Do you do tattoos on the weekends? What's going on? Like, what can you do amazing? You are really a Renaissance woman who does everything really well. And that's it's a blessing to be able to do all those things. But fast forward. Whose concept? Tell me about the concept before we get into that video and all that, about the concept of how it came together and everything about it. I want to know.
TL Benton, shout out to TL Benton, Mecca Filmworks, who pretty much masterminded everything. TL also directed the radio video, and TL, he's out of the Maryland area. He reached out to me years back, and not even years back, maybe 2019, and said that he was looking for creatives who had ideas for him to film because he has crazy, amazing equipment, a great team. And he thought of me. I thought that was pretty cool. And so during the pandemic, when I started to write the album and work on the album, I would reach out to him and beg him to come into my little space and like film some very raw, gritty elements of my life, because that was a part of this whole Compass story, is about kind of being humbled, kind of feeling lost, trying to find your way. And I wanted him to showcase that in media. And so he came over here and he filmed me singing a cappella. He filmed me doing all this stuff. And we started putting out these teasers, and then he did radio. And I was like, I can't even believe you did that. I didn't know what the video was going to be about. I just showed up and did my thing. And so then I told him I wanted to do a video for Time and that I would love to work with him again. And TL keeps you on your toes, because I really did, up until maybe 3 or 4 days before we shot the video, I didn't know what it was going to be about. I knew what I wrote the song about. And I knew that there were certain things that I wanted TL to make sure were captured in any media visual, which is why even if you watch the radio video, as much as that I'm performing and dancing, there are these gritty scenes in the beginning and the end. That was right below where I live. That scene was shot. T.O. had the idea of, he was saying, okay, you really want this raw, you want this to represent your life. Are you comfortable showing people that reality? And I'm like, let's do it. So I'm in this really cool, swanky little studio apartment above a garage. I live above a garage. So underneath are tools and all this rough shit, you know? And so he filmed me down there and he added that to the video. And so I told him that whatever we did for time, he had to kind of keep some edge of hardness or darkness or grit, because that is the story of Compass. And he came to me with this idea of Deborah as this drunken, wild jazz singer, which he knows, filming me enough times, that I like a cocktail, that I am wild. And so he said, I got this idea for you, Deborah. You know, jazz club, flipping through time, which is also what I was kind of writing about. He did pay attention to the lyrics, there's a line, I'm still waiting for the future to reach up to me, which is kind of like a play on, like, I'm at the time, but behind the time at the same time. And so he really just gave me a script and said, can we get a band together? Can we find a jazz club? And I, thankfully, Baltimore, Maryland, Keystone Corner Jazz Club, during a pandemic, let me rent it out for the day. And we filmed it all in one day. My friends, the producer of the song, Brandon Lane, who is a very young, up and coming, phenomenal producer, who's
wonderful.
He produced quite a few songs on the record. And Trey Sorrells, who also was in the video, produced Radio. I said, let's get them together and let's just and they were like terrified of acting. They didn't know. They were like, okay, we're going to do this dialogue with Deborah. And I just had a blast. I took a sip and I became a character.
It's brilliant. But I want to tell people too that when this broadcast is over, just do go on YouTube and go check out the full video of Radio, because it is really, really great. We couldn't play the whole thing here because I don't want to cut into our talk time, that kind of thing. But we're gonna start phasing out now, because the time video is almost 7 full minutes.
Yeah.
So I wanted to play out. I want people to see it. But before we let you go, I just want you to tell people where to find you, where to connect with your socials and all those things.
I'm out in the internet streets. You can find me on Instagram at Deborah Bond, BoraBond. Twitter, Deborah Bond, BoRahBond. Facebook, Deborah Bond Music. YouTube, Deborah Bond Music. And then I have a website for anyone that's interested in mentoring or coaching, those kinds of things. You can schedule that type of stuff on my website, DeborahBond.com.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I want to thank you for being here tonight with us. And you just have been such a little gem. I adore you, like for real.
I can't wait to hug you. I just want to meet you in person.
Oh, likewise. And we can do that now. So
yeah,
we'll make sure that we make that happen. And I mean, I don't know when I'm going to be in your area, but whenever I'm going to be, I'm going to make sure you know it. And same when you come up this way. And I want to thank all of the viewers out there for checking us out tonight and coming to support what we're doing. Thank you, Doran, Harron, Marshall, Christian, Monica, and let me go down, TJ Dress. And I want to read every name I see here. Marianne, Roro. Oh, wait. We were supposed to sing something. Jeremiah, Stacy. We were supposed to do a little ditty together. We're going to sing a little clip for you. All right. Do you still want to do it, or did you change your mind?
I'm down.
Okay. Who's starting this thing?
I'll start. You want me to start?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Make sure I might sing in a little low key. Let me, turn down the light. Turn down the bed. Turn down these voices inside my head.
Lay down with me. Tell me no lies. Just hold me close. Don't patronize. Don't patronize me. It's low for me, but I got it. I got y'all there.
Oh, man.
Let's hit that chorus one time.
'cause I can make you love me if you don't.
You can make your heart feel something it won't.
Woo! Here in the dark and these final hours,
I will lay down my heart, but I'll feel the power. But you won't. No, you won't.
Yes, yeah. I'm like on honor. Like you don't understand. Like I've been like I've been like following you for so long. So sitting up here singing with you is really cool.
Well, you know what? I'm really glad we did this, and now we're sisters for life.
Boom.
So there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, I told you I cried when I read your stuff, and I don't bull about it. I'm really, I feel you. I love you. So let me just roll into your time video and let people see this amazing piece that you've created with your team.
Thank you for having me today.
Everybody get out there and follow Deborah Bond, please. And I hope to see you here next week when our guest will be the wonderful comedian, actor, activist, author, musician, Wally Collins, who's just like a comedic genius and has been all over Comedy Central, and he's worked with everyone, and he's dear. He's a dear person. I love him so much, and he's going to be here next week with us at 8:00, so don't miss it. And now I'm running over, but let's take us into time. And thank you, Sophia, for the wonderful night. Let me bring you back in real quick. Thank you for coming in and helping us as always. And can you just take us into Deborah's time?
Yeah.
Bye, everybody. Stick around for time.
Okay, 5 more minutes. We just talked about it. 5 more minutes. Okay. Ain't coming back.
Shut up, fool. You ain't quitting. Because if you quit, I'ma quit.
Yeah, I'm telling you, she does this every single time. She shows up drunk, cussing us out, cigarette smoke, messing with my lungs. I can't take it anymore, man. Ow.
Man, y'all ain't going nowhere. And who cares if she comes out or not? I told Lippy to have my money either way. He agreed. Quite frankly, I hope she don't come out.
Except the jerk, dude.
Wait, Lippy told you you getting paid regardless?
I mean, yeah, I got a family to feed. Plus, I ain't sweating this little band, man. My band headlines the corner next week with some cats that can actually swing. More, please.
Not coming out, Lippy.
Hey, Lippy, where's my money, man? She does this every time.
Don't you even do me like that. You know the critics are eating her alive.
So what? You didn't pay us for the last hit.
That's because the hot spot don't tolerate folk being late. We said we weren't going to point fingers or name names last time. We said that. It was Mackie's fault.
I'm here, ain't I?
How many times have I heard that I've got nothing but time? And now for the first time, it seems the time is running out. Been told that it is on my side, and as an optimist, that sounds just fine. But truth be told, in life there's no rewind. Yes, I know I've always been the one. I've always been the one that wants to move so fast, not knowing where I'm going, and I'm still waiting for the future to reach up to me. How long will this life last? I better start living. Who'd have thought I'd reach the day? More and more I see the gray. Staring at fine lines, they say this comes with age. Am I in or am I out? I thought by now that I'd have some cloud.
Yeah.
I wanna stop the clock and I know I can figure it out. Yes, I know I've always been the one. I've always been the one, but I don't wanna move so fast, 'cause I don't know where I'm going, and I'm still waiting. Still waiting for the future to reach out to me. Oh, how long will life last? Better start living it. Stop dwelling on the past. Stop holding on. How long will life last? Ooh, it's moving so fast. Better start living in it. Stop dwelling on the past.
You know what? I could do all of this. I could do it. I could play it. I could go, boom, boom. I could do all of that. Y'all good? You good? Good. Good. All right.
Yes. Thank you.
Oh man. Wow.
All right, my dear. Thank you so much.
Giving you big air hugs. Thank you so
much.
Yeah.
It was a great video and great having you again.
Thank you. Please keep in touch.
Keep up with Deborah. Keep up with Deborah. Keep up with me and Sophia. And just check us all out. And we're here to, what do I want to say? We're here for good.
That's right.
Good. Bye, everyone. Good night.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.